This audiobook is a revelation of your true nature, that you are the quantum, the consciousness from which all worlds arise. The universe is your reflection, and vibration your language. As you listen, you'll remember how to create from pure being. You are the quantum. Introduction. In the silent stillness between thought and creation, a sacred truth awaits your remembrance. You are not a fragment of the universe. You are its source made visible. The cosmos does not move by chance or clockwork, but by vibration, the unseen rhythm of consciousness weaving light into form. Every thought, every feeling, every breath of awareness sends ripples through the quantum sea of existence, shaping the worlds you call your life. This wisdom has never been lost, only forgotten, whispered through temple corridors, carried by mystics across the sands of time. And now, as the veil of forgetting thins, these ancient truths return to those ready to hear. You stand at the threshold of remembrance, where cause and effect dissolve into the radiant knowing that you are both dreamer and dream. The law of attraction, in its purest essence, is not a method of summoning what is absent. It is the natural unfolding of what you already are. Every cell within you hums with a frequency that calls forth its reflection in the mirror of reality. You are not the one reaching into the infinite field. You are the field itself, eternally shaping, eternally becoming. To live as the quantum is to release striving and enter resonance. It is to tune the instrument of your being, thought, emotion, and belief to the song of the reality you wish to behold. And as your vibration aligns with truth, creation flows through you like light through crystal. This is the ancient art of quantum living, the sacred remembrance that manifestation is not something you do, but something you allow. For in truth, you were never separate from creation. You have always been the creator. But before we begin, please hit the like button and let me know where in the world you're watching from today. It's always fascinating seeing who's joining us from around the world. Part 1. The Awakening Frequency. Chapter 1. The Mirror Within. In a village among ancient hills, Lila spent her days watching life unfold like a story she couldn't quite understand. Each morning brought the same disappointments. Each sunset carried away unfulfilled dreams. Until one day, in her grandmother's attic, she discovered a peculiar mirror. Unlike ordinary mirrors that simply showed her face, this one revealed something extraordinary. When anger coursed through her veins, the surface rippled with stormy waves. In moments of joy, it sparkled like sunlight on morning dew. The mirror, she realized, wasn't reflecting her appearance. It was showing her inner state. As days passed, Lila noticed a striking parallel. Her external world matched precisely what the mirror revealed. When the surface showed turbulent waters, her life filled with conflict. When it gleamed with peaceful light, opportunities flowed effortlessly. The universe, she discovered, was itself a grand mirror, reflecting back exactly what she held within. The truth became clear. Life's patterns weren't random occurrences, but precise reflections of her maintained vibration. Just as ripples in a pond can't form shapes different from the forces that created them, her experience couldn't manifest beyond the frequency she embodied. In a distant garden, Louis tended to unusual seeds. A quiet soul who often doubted himself, he discovered these seeds responded not to water and sunlight alone, but to his thoughts, and feelings. On days when his heart felt light, the flowers bloomed with unprecedented beauty. When worry clouded his mind, the plants seemed to shrink away from life itself. Through patient observation, Louis learned that forcing growth never worked. Instead, when he aligned his entire being with the natural joy of nurturing life, the garden flourished beyond imagination. His plants became living proof that nature responds not to effort, but to the quality of consciousness that tends it. Just as Louis's garden bloomed in harmony with his inner state, your life reflects the vibration you maintain. The mirror and the garden teach the same truth. Manifestation flows not from force, but from alignment. As twilight approaches, find a quiet moment. Breathe deeply, imagining each breath as streams of silver light. Let this light flow through you, smoothing the surface of your inner mirror like gentle waves caressing a shore. Feel each breath dissolving resistance, clearing the way for new reflections to emerge. This ancient practice, known as the mirror of being, allows your natural state of abundance to reflect clearly in the mirror of life. Chapter 2. The Field That Listens. Within the quiet confines of his workshop, Henry discovered a truth as ancient as creation itself. Each morning, as he tinkered with engines and calibrated delicate machinery, he noticed an unmistakable pattern emerging. The machines seemed to possess an awareness, responding not to his technical skill alone, but to the frequency of his thoughts. On days when frustration clouded his mind, when his muttered words carried the weight of discontent, the engines would sputter and resist. Tools would slip from his grasp, and the simplest repairs would become inexplicably complex. Yet when his heart was light, when joy flowed through his whispered songs, and quiet contentment filled his workspace, every gear would turn in perfect harmony. This dance between consciousness and creation reveals the most fundamental law of existence. Vibration attracts its match with mathematical precision. Just as a tuning fork will cause another of the same frequency to resonate across a room, your thoughts and feelings send ripples through the fabric of reality, drawing forth experiences that mirror their essence. In a small apartment across town lived Maybelle, whose relationship with her houseplants unveiled another layer of this universal principle. Each morning, she would walk among her green companions, whispering words of love and appreciation. What began as a modest collection soon transformed into an indoor paradise, with plants flourishing beyond their natural patterns. Leaves grew lusher, blooms appeared out of season, and even struggling seedlings would revive under her tender ministrations. Maybelle's verdant sanctuary demonstrated a vital truth. Every particle of existence responds to the information carried by your energy. The plants didn't thrive because of complex fertilizers or perfect conditions. They flourished because they received clear signals of life and growth through her loving attention. Your words, thoughts, and feelings are not merely expressions of your internal state. They are instructions to the universe itself. Every molecule in creation is attuned to your frequency, waiting to arrange itself in alignment with your dominant vibration. This is not mystical thinking, but the physics of consciousness in action. Following the wisdom revealed through Henry's workshop, an ancient practice emerges. As twilight settles each day, find a moment of stillness. Let your breath become soft and regular, and begin to whisper words of gratitude into the air around you. Feel each syllable carrying the frequency of appreciation into the atmosphere. Sense the very molecules of reality responding, rearranging themselves to match your peaceful state. This simple ritual aligns your energy with the natural abundance of the universe, creating a channel through which greater harmony can flow. Chapter 3. The Currency of Emotion. In the heart of a bustling city, Vivian sang nightly at a dimly lit jazz club. Her voice, though technically perfect, failed to draw the crowds she dreamed of. Night after night, she watched others receive standing ovations while she earned merely polite applause. Her bank account, like her spirit, remained mysteriously empty despite her dedication. One evening, believing no one remained in the club, Vivian sat at the piano and began to sing, not for tips or praise, but for the pure joy of melody. Her voice, freed from the chains of expectation, soared through the empty room. Unknown to her, patrons had begun slipping in, drawn by the magnetic pull of authentic emotion flowing through her songs. From that night forward, Vivian discovered that when she sang from a place of pure delight, abundance flowed effortlessly. Her tip jar overflowed, booking requests multiplied, and opportunities emerged as if orchestrated by an invisible conductor. The universe operates on the frequency of feeling. Your emotions broadcast a signal far more potent than your thoughts or actions. When you align with the vibration of abundance, not through striving but through genuine joy, you tap into the infinite flow of universal prosperity. In a small village far from Vivian's city lived Rudy, an unusual artist who never used physical paint. Instead, he would sit before blank canvases and feel. He felt sunshine, and yellows would appear. He felt ocean depths, and blues would emerge. Those who purchased his paintings spoke of strange occurrences, rooms filling with light, unexpected opportunities arising, fortune shifting like tides. The truth revealed through Rudy's art mirrors an eternal principle. Emotion leaves an energetic imprint far deeper than thought alone. Your feelings are the true colors with which you paint your reality. When you cultivate the feeling of abundance, not the thought of it, not the hope of it, but the genuine feeling, you transform the quantum field around you. Just as Vivian discovered that joy, not effort, attracted abundance, you too can access this natural flow. The universe responds not to your actions but to your frequency. When you vibrate at the level of sufficiency and gratitude, you naturally attract more reasons to feel sufficient and grateful. Ancient practice. Begin each day as Vivian learned to do. Before opening your eyes each morning, allow a gentle hum of gratitude to rise from your heart. Feel abundance as a warm glow in your chest, expanding with each breath. Let this feeling be your first conscious experience, setting the frequency of your day. This practice, passed down through generations of wisdom keepers, attunes your being to the natural state of prosperity that surrounds you always. Chapter 4. The Language of Light. In the quietude of midnight, Caleb walked his familiar rounds through the empty office building, flashlight in hand. Night after night, he'd noticed something peculiar. His beam would shine with extraordinary brilliance during moments of contentment, yet dim to a whisper when worry crept into his thoughts. At first, he dismissed these fluctuations as battery issues, but as the pattern persisted, a deeper truth emerged. The light responded not to the charge of electrons, but to the charge of his being. When his spirit soared with gratitude, the beam cut through darkness like a laser. When fear clouded his mind, even fresh batteries produced only a feeble glow. The universe speaks in the language of light. Your thoughts and emotions emit frequencies as real as radio waves, as tangible as sunbeams. Each intention sends ripples through the quantum field, affecting the electromagnetic fabric of reality itself. Your consciousness is not contained within your skull. It radiates outward, touching everything in its path. Beyond the veil of ordinary perception, sweet Clarabelle discovered this truth in her own way. Each evening, she would sit at her window, gazing up at the stars. Rather than seeing them as distant points of light, she imagined them as old friends waiting to dance. As she directed her loving attention skyward, something remarkable occurred. Certain stars seemed to pulse brighter, responding to her silent communion. Scientists now confirm what mystics have long known. Focused thought produces measurable photons. The heart's electromagnetic field, when coherent with positive emotion, creates waves of light that extend far beyond the body. You are, in the most literal sense, a being of light speaking to a universe of light. The flashlight in your hand is more than a tool. It is a mirror of your inner radiance. The world brightens or dims according to the light you carry within. When you cultivate joy, gratitude, and love, you become a living lamp, illuminating not just your path, but the paths of all you encounter. To amplify your luminous nature, practice what Caleb discovered in those quiet midnight hours. Find a peaceful moment and settle into gentle breathing. With each inhale, imagine pure starlight streaming into your heart center, filling you with celestial brilliance. With each exhale, let this light expand outward, touching everything in your awareness. Feel yourself becoming a lighthouse of consciousness, broadcasting waves of illumination through the quantum field. This is not mere visualization. It is an activation of your natural ability to transmute energy through focused intention. As you continue this practice, notice how the world around you begins to shimmer with new possibility, reflecting back the light you dare to embody. Chapter 5. The Gravity of Belief. In the quiet corners of an ancient library where dust motes dance in shafts of morning light, Olive noticed something extraordinary. At first she dismissed it as a trick of her tired eyes. Yet there it was again, books shifting their positions when she wasn't looking directly at them. Titles that should have been scattered throughout the library's vast collection mysteriously appeared together, arranged precisely as she had imagined they would be. When searching for books on abundance, suddenly every spine seemed to whisper of prosperity. When contemplating love, romance novels emerged from unlikely places. The library itself appeared to bend to her inner knowing, as if reality were clay in the hands of her expectations. Through this sacred synchronicity, a timeless truth reveals itself. Belief shapes the very fabric of existence. Your certainty molds the universe more powerfully than any physical force. When you know, not hope, not wish, but know, the world rearranges itself to match your knowing. Consider how the great forces of nature respond not to doubt, but to absolute conviction. The sun does not hope to rise, it simply rises. The seasons do not wish to change, they transform with unwavering certainty. This same power of absolute knowing resides within you. Young Frank discovered this truth through his adventures with a simple kite. Day after day he would run across the meadow, hoping the wind would lift his creation skyward. Yet the kite remained earthbound, dragging in the grass. Then one morning, something shifted in Frank's heart. As he stood on the hillside, he felt the wind's presence as surely as his own breath. He knew, with the same certainty that stars know how to shine, that his kite would soar. In that moment of pure knowing, the kite lifted effortlessly into the azure sky, dancing with the clouds as if it had always belonged there. Just as Frank's certainty commanded the wind, your beliefs command the invisible forces that shape your reality. When you replace hope with knowing, when you transform wishes into certainty, the universe has no choice but to conform to your conviction. The world you experience is not a fixed, objective reality, but a living reflection of your deepest beliefs. Like Olive's library, it reorganizes itself according to your expectations. This is not magic, but the natural operation of universal law. Ancient practice. The sunrise certainty. Each morning as the first light touches the horizon, settle into a space of quiet contemplation. Breathe deeply and speak these words with the certainty of the rising sun. All of life conspires lovingly for me. Feel this truth anchor itself in your being, not as a hope or wish, but as an immutable fact of existence. Let this knowing infuse every cell of your body until you feel its weight, solid and real as the earth beneath your feet. Carry this certainty with you, letting it shape the hours ahead with its unwavering light. Chapter 6. The Alchemy of Thought. In a small village bakery, where morning light filtered through flour-dusted windows, Hazel noticed something extraordinary. Each loaf of bread she baked carried the essence of her thoughts while kneading. When her mind dwelled on love and gratitude, the crust turned golden perfect. The crumb held just the right moisture, and customers claimed they could taste joy in every bite. Yet on days when worry clouded her thoughts, even following the same recipe precisely, her bread emerged dense and lackluster. The universe speaks through the language of vibration. Your thoughts and emotions create patterns in the quantum field, patterns that ripple outward and shape the physical world. Like a master alchemist, you transmute energy into matter through the crucible of consciousness. Every thought carries a specific frequency, and when charged with emotion, it becomes a template for material creation. This ancient wisdom teaches that matter itself is consciousness made manifest. The heat of emotion acts as the catalyst, while focused thought provides the form. When you align these elements, thought, feeling, and belief, the physical world cannot help but conform to your inner vision. Consider Chester, whose garage had become a labyrinth of forgotten treasures and discarded dreams. Rather than tackling the chaos with mere physical effort, he sat quietly each morning, visualizing perfect order. He saw each item finding its rightful place, imagined pathways clearing, sensed the satisfaction of completion. Within days, opportunities for organization seemed to present themselves effortlessly. Friends offered storage solutions, unexpected buyers appeared for items he'd meant to sell, and the space began arranging itself with remarkable synchronicity. What appeared as magic was simply the law of resonance at work. Chester's clear mental image, sustained with emotional conviction, became a magnetic force drawing physical reality into alignment with his vision. The garage responded not to his hands alone, but to the vibrational blueprint he held steady in his mind. This mirrors the truth that all creation begins in the invisible realm of thought before manifesting in the visible world of form. Just as Hazel's loving thoughts transform simple ingredients into nourishing bread, your focused intention shapes the raw material of existence into the reality you envision. The practice. As Hazel worked in her bakery, she developed a sacred ritual. Before touching any ingredients, she would pause, center herself, and allow golden light to flow through her heart into her palms. With each gentle motion of kneading, she infused the dough with blessed energy, watching as subtle sparkles of light merged with the flour and water. This practice transformed her baking from a mere physical act into a ceremony of creation, where love became substance and intention became form. Chapter 7. The Golden Thread of Intention. In the stillness of dawn, Eloise arranges crystal beads before her, each one catching the first light. As she threads them together, a mysterious pattern emerges, not from her design, but from the whispers of her heart. Those mornings when her thoughts drift like clouds, the beads seem to resist, tangling themselves in knots. Yet when her mind settles into crystal clarity, they flow onto the string as naturally as dewdrops sliding down a leaf. The universe speaks in the language of intention. Each thought you hold creates ripples in the quantum field, waves of possibility that collapse into physical reality when focused through the lens of clear purpose. Like Eloise's beads finding their perfect arrangement, your desires seek their manifestation through the precision of your aim. Within the infinite field of potential, intention acts as a compass, directing the flow of energy toward its destined form. This is not mere wishful thinking, but the fundamental physics of consciousness itself. When you hold an intention with unwavering clarity, you become a lens-focusing scattered light into a powerful beam. In a quiet workshop across town, Ralph tends to timepieces with practiced hands. He notices that watches running slow begin keeping perfect time simply by his expectation of precision. Those he doubts continue their stubborn resistance to repair. Through trial and wonder, he learns that mechanical precision follows the clarity of his inner certainty. Time itself seems to bend around the gravity of focused intention. When your desire aligns with your deepest truth, the universe conspires to accelerate its manifestation. Synchronicities multiply, resistance dissolves, and what once seemed impossible unfolds with natural grace. This is the alchemy of thought, not forcing, but focusing, not pushing against reality, but allowing it to reshape itself around the crystal clarity of your intention. Like Ralph's watches finding their rhythm, your life attunes itself to the frequency of your clearest purpose. The ancient practice of intention. Binding. Each morning as the sun rises, take a length of ribbon in your hands. Hold it gently while speaking your intention in clear, simple terms. As you tie it with mindful presence, know that you are binding this truth into the fabric of reality. Hang the ribbon where the wind can catch it, watching it dance as a living reminder that your focused intention now moves with the currents of creation. Let each flutter affirm that the universe has heard your heart's clear song. Chapter 8. The Architecture of Trust. In an ancient city where dreams took shape in stone and steel, Dottie spent her evenings at her drafting table. Night after night she noticed a peculiar pattern. The buildings that rose most faithfully to her designs were those she drew with unwavering trust. When doubt crept into her pencil strokes, the construction would mysteriously deviate. Yet when her hand moved with serene certainty, reality mirrored her vision with uncanny precision. The universe operates through the law of vibrational stability. When you maintain steady faith in your vision, you create a stable frequency that allows manifestation to occur naturally. Like a radio signal that comes in clearly only when perfectly tuned, your desires materialize most purely when your trust remains unwavering. Fear, doubt, and excessive control act as static, disrupting the clean transmission of your intention into physical form. Trust, however, provides the clear channel through which the quantum field can deliver your vision unaltered. This is why masters say, "The universe knows how." Your role is not to micromanage manifestation, but to hold steady the frequency of your desire. In a quiet village by the sea, Arthur crafted paper boats each morning. He noticed that when he released them onto the water with anxiety, checking constantly if they would sink, they inevitably took on water and disappeared beneath the waves. But on days when he set them sailing with peaceful detachment, they would glide across the surface as if blessed by the sea itself, carrying his wishes to distant shores. Your creations are like Arthur's paper boats. When you launch them with trust rather than trepidation, they remain buoyant on the waters of possibility. The moment you begin to worry and watch too closely is the moment they begin to sink. This is the paradox of manifestation. What you desire comes most swiftly when you release your grip upon it. Just as water takes the shape of its container while remaining true to its nature, reality flows into the vessel of your intention most perfectly when you trust its wisdom. Every blueprint you draw, whether for a building or a dream, manifests through the same principle. Unwavering trust stabilizes the frequency that allows it to materialize. The practice. Take 3 deep breaths and sit at your table with your goals written before you. Under each one, write the word "done" with the same certainty you would sign your name. As you write, breathe as though you're inhaling the completed reality of each goal. Feel the natural satisfaction of its achievement, just as Dottie felt the solid presence of her buildings before they rose from the ground. Let each exhale carry away any need to control the process. This practice aligns you with the frequency of completion, allowing your desires to manifest through the wisdom of the universe rather than the limitations of your planning. Chapter 9. The Harmony of Duality. In a small mountain village, there lived a musician named Greta who spent her days tuning instruments for the local orchestra. Though skilled in creating perfect pitch for others, she found herself perpetually out of tune, torn between her yearning for artistic expression and her practical responsibilities. Each morning, she would wake to this inner discord, feeling as though her desires were at war. One dawn, while organizing her workshop, she discovered an ancient tuning fork wrapped in silk. As she struck it against her wooden workbench, something extraordinary occurred. Instead of a single note, it produced 2 tones that somehow created perfect harmony. In that moment, a truth unveiled itself. Opposition breeds balance. The universe operates through the dance of duality. Like the inhale needs the exhale, like day requires night. Your desires need not fight each other. They are meant to complement. When you resist this natural law, struggling to eliminate one side of any equation, you create resistance that blocks the flow of manifestation. Consider how a river gains its power not from forcing its way through the rocks, but from embracing their presence and finding paths around them. Your contradicting wants and needs are not obstacles to overcome, but essential elements that create the fullness of your experience. Just as a beautiful chord requires both high and low notes, your journey demands the interplay of seemingly opposing forces, the material and spiritual, action and surrender, solitude and connection. These are not enemies to be reconciled, but partners in an eternal dance. In a village far across the valley lived Harold, a candle maker whose greatest challenge came from his most precious creations, twin candles that would never burn with equal brightness. No matter how precisely he crafted them, one would always flicker while the other blazed. His frustration grew until one evening, watching their uneven light cast moving shadows on the wall, he noticed something remarkable. The dance of light and shadow created patterns more beautiful than uniform illumination ever could. Just as Harold's candles taught him to appreciate the beauty of variation, your own inner conflicts serve as creative tension, generating the energy needed for growth and manifestation. When you resist one aspect of yourself in favor of another, you diminish your power. But when you embrace the full spectrum of your being, you access the true force of creation. Sacred practice. Find a quiet space and seat yourself comfortably. Close your eyes and bring to mind two opposing desires or aspects of yourself. Rather than trying to choose between them, hold them both in your awareness simultaneously. Feel the tension between them, not as conflict, but as energy. Breathe deeply into this space of contrast, allowing both sides to exist fully. As you continue breathing, imagine these opposing forces transforming into musical notes. Let them vibrate together, creating a harmony unique to you. Practice this meditation daily, allowing your contradictions to become your symphony. Chapter 10. The Breath Between Worlds. In a sunlit meditation hall, Flora sat cross-legged, watching her thoughts dance like motes in the air. With each breath, she noticed an extraordinary phenomenon. The space around her seemed to pulse in harmony with her inner rhythm. When her mind wandered to worries, the light dimmed. When she returned to peaceful awareness, the room brightened perceptibly. The universe moves in waves of breath. Each inhale draws in infinite possibility. Each exhale releases creation into form. Your thoughts, when united with conscious breathing, become living bridges between potential and manifestation. This ancient wisdom reveals that breath serves as the quantum conductor, orchestrating the symphony between consciousness and reality. As you breathe mindfully, you align with the eternal pulse that moves through all things. This alignment creates a crystalline clarity where intention and manifestation become one fluid movement. The breath, far more than mere air exchange, carries the codes of creation itself. In a distant village, Wilfred discovered this truth through play. Each morning he would mix soap and water, then blow bubbles into the wind. He noticed that when he breathed his wishes into each bubble with pure joy, strange coincidences would follow. A bubble carrying his wish for friendship would float to a lonely child's window. Another bearing his dream of music would drift toward a street musician offering free lessons. What Wilfred understood intuitively was the sacred physics of breath-infused intention. His bubbles weren't merely soap and air. They were vessels of conscious creation, carrying vibrational imprints into the quantum field. The lightness of his approach allowed magic to unfold naturally, without the weight of doubt or forced effort. This simple truth beckons you now. Your breath holds the power to bridge dimensions. When you breathe consciously, you participate in the original act of creation, the divine inhalation and exhalation that brings worlds into being. Each breath becomes a prayer, each exhalation a blessing, each moment an opportunity to align with the infinite intelligence that orchestrates reality. Just as Wilfred's bubbles transformed wishes into experiences, your breath can transform thoughts into tangible reality. The key lies not in forcing change, but in allowing your natural rhythm to synchronize with the universe's own respiration. The practice. Find a quiet space and settle into a comfortable position. Begin breathing slowly through your nose, filling your being with gratitude. As you exhale, release your beliefs like seeds into the fertile field of possibility. Feel each breath carrying your consciousness into the quantum realm where all potential exists simultaneously. Continue this practice until you sense yourself becoming one with the eternal rhythm of creation. Part 2. The Mastery of Vibration. Chapter 11. The Music of the Infinite. In the quiet corners of an ancient concert hall, Bola discovered a truth that transformed her understanding of music and reality itself. Each morning, as sunlight filtered through towering windows, she would sit with her violin, eyes closed, tuning not to any external pitch, but to the whispered guidance of her soul. At first, fellow musicians questioned her method. Yet, when she played, her strings sang with an otherworldly perfection that brought tears to listeners' eyes. The secret, she learned, was that the universe itself holds a perfect pitch, one that flows through all creation, waiting to be heard by those who listen with their whole being. The wisdom rings eternal. Sound carries more than mere vibration. It bears the very essence of consciousness itself. When you align your frequency with the universe's song, reality shifts to match your melody. Each thought, each feeling, each intention rides upon waves of sound, seen and unseen, shaping the fabric of existence. In the village where dairy cows grazed on misty hills, Ned discovered this truth in his own way. Every morning and evening, lost birds would find their way home, guided by his gentle whistling. He didn't know their species or habits. He simply tuned himself to the morning air and let pure tones flow from his lips. The birds, responding to something deeper than mere sound, would wheel and turn in the sky, finding their direction in his song. What Ned intuitively understood was that tone structures reality itself. His whistling didn't merely signal the birds, it reorganized the field of possibility around them, creating pathways of resonance they could follow home. The physical world, seemingly so solid, dances to the music of consciousness. Your body is not merely flesh and bone. It is a living instrument, constantly playing its part in the universal symphony. Every cell vibrates with life force. Every heartbeat adds to the cosmic rhythm. When you speak, laugh, or simply breathe, you contribute to the orchestration of reality itself. As you tune yourself to higher frequencies through conscious intention, the world around you begins to harmonize with your new vibration. This is not metaphor, but the literal physics of consciousness expressing through form. The practice. Find stillness at dawn when the veil between worlds grows thin. Begin with a single tone, not forced, but arising naturally from your center. Let it evolve, following the guidance of your inner knowing. As you sustain this communion, notice how the silence between notes grows pregnant with presence, how the air itself seems to shimmer with potential. This is the universe responding to your song, joining its voice with yours in the eternal symphony of being. Chapter 12. The Blessing Code. High in the mountains, where healing herbs grow wild and wisdom rides on morning mist, there lived a nurse named Millie. Each dawn as she walked the sterile halls of her hospital ward, she noticed something extraordinary. Patients in rooms she had blessed seemed to recover with unusual speed. At first, she dismissed these recoveries as coincidence. Yet as the pattern repeated, she began to understand a deeper truth. Her blessings carried genuine power. When she placed her hands near a patient and whispered words of wellness, their vital signs would strengthen. Even the most challenging cases showed remarkable improvement after receiving her silent benedictions. The universe operates through vibrational frequencies that respond to the energy of pure intention. When you offer a blessing, a focused beam of loving consciousness, you alter the electromagnetic field of whatever receives your attention. This is not mysticism, but physics expressed through the heart's coherent field. Your blessing carries specific informational patterns that can transform chaos into order, discord into harmony. Like a master key that unlocks nature's healing potential, genuine blessing activates the innate intelligence within all things, calling forth their highest expression. In a small village not far from Millie's hospital lived Boyd, a bicycle messenger whose beloved delivery bike had broken beyond repair. One evening, after multiple mechanics had declared the bike unsalvageable, Boyd sat beside it and began blessing each damaged part. "You are whole," he whispered to the bent frame. "You are perfect," he told the crushed wheel. Hour after hour he continued his quiet benedictions. The next morning, Boyd discovered his bike mysteriously restored. Not just functional, but better than new. The metal had somehow remembered its original form, as though Boyd's blessings had awakened the blueprint of wholeness sleeping within its atoms. This simple story reveals an eternal truth. Blessing is not merely words or wishes, but a transmission of harmonious frequency that calls forth the inherent perfection in all things. When you truly bless something, whether person, situation, or broken bicycle, you remind it of its divine design, its natural state of wholeness. Through blessing, you become an instrument of universal intelligence, allowing healing frequencies to flow through you into the world. Each blessing is a note in the symphony of creation, helping restore the music of perfect order. The practice, Millie envisions light radiating from her palms, whispering, "It is whole." Chapter 13. The Shadow Whisperer. In a small cottage among whispering pines, Opal kept her mirrors draped in silk scarves. Each morning she hurried past them, rushing to paint on a smile before the world could glimpse her sorrow. Yet one dawn, as golden light spilled through her window, the largest mirror shed its covering of its own accord. There in the glass her reflection spoke not with judgment, but with the tenderness of an old friend. "The tears you hide water gardens within," It whispered. Your heart's rain nurtures wisdom's seeds. This moment of truth unveils an essential understanding. The universe responds not to what we pretend, but to what vibrates in our depths. Every suppressed emotion creates a ripple in the quantum field, attracting circumstances that mirror our hidden frequencies. When you resist sadness, you resist the very force that would transmute it into joy. Like emotions trapped behind glass, unacknowledged feelings gather strength until they manifest in ever larger ways. The law of attraction works not through denial, but through integration, embracing all frequencies as messengers of growth. In a distant valley, Edwin lived in perpetual sunlight, running from his shadow until exhaustion claimed his days. One afternoon, he finally turned to face the darkness that followed him. To his amazement, his shadow bowed in recognition. As Edwin extended his hand in friendship, the shadow merged with his being, filling him with unexpected vitality. His eyes began to shine with both daylight and starlight, his voice carrying the power of both thunder and silence. This tale mirrors your own journey through the spectrum of consciousness. Just as Edwin discovered, true power flows not from rejecting the shadow, but from embracing its gifts. The darkness you avoid holds the very medicine your spirit seeks. When you suppress any feeling, you fragment your vibrational signature. Yet when you welcome all emotions as equal teachers, you restore yourself to wholeness. This integration creates a frequency so pure that the universe can respond with perfect clarity. Your sadness is not a flaw in the cosmic design, but a note in creation's symphony. Each tear holds a prism of understanding. Each moment of melancholy carries the seeds of profound joy. By embracing what arises, you free your energy to flow in its natural rhythm. Practice. Stand before a mirror in the gentle light of dawn. Place your hand against your reflection as Opal learned to do. Feel the cool glass beneath your palm, and speak these words with the tenderness you would offer a beloved friend. All parts of me belong to the light. Let your eyes hold your own gaze until you sense the truth of this blessing spreading through your being like warm honey. Do this each morning until you feel the frequencies of acceptance and resistance merge into one clear tone of love. Before we get into the next chapter, you can download a free ebook version of this audiobook using the link in the pinned comment below this video. Chapter 14. The Memory of the Soul. In the quiet hours before dawn, Jerome found himself standing in a garden he had never seen, yet knew intimately. As moonlight filtered through ancient olive trees, wisdom from countless lifetimes began to surface in his consciousness like bubbles rising through still water. Each memory carried not just images, but entire frequencies of being. The sensation of healing with sound in Atlantis, the vibration of Sanskrit mantras in forgotten temples, the pulse of stars viewed from dimensions beyond time. The universe speaks in the language of energy, and your soul has been fluent since before time began. Within you lies a vast library of wisdom, encoded not in words but in vibrational patterns. Each lifetime leaves its signature in your energetic field, creating resonant frequencies that influence your present manifestations. When you access these soul memories, you're not merely revisiting the past. You're activating dormant frequencies within your quantum field. These frequencies carry the accumulated wisdom of your eternal journey. waiting to be remembered and expressed. Your current lifetime isn't a separate chapter, but a continuation of an endless story written in light. Consider how a crystal holds its structure through time, maintaining perfect geometric alignment. Similarly, your soul maintains coherent patterns across all expressions of being. What appears as separate lives are truly waves in an infinite ocean of consciousness, each carrying the whole within it. In the hills of a small village, Bonnie spent her afternoons beneath an ancient oak tree. One day, as sunlight dappled through leaves overhead, her consciousness merged with the tree's own awareness. In that moment, she experienced the slow, powerful understanding of growing through centuries, the patience of extending roots deep into earth, the joy of reaching branches toward light, the wisdom of standing unmoved through countless storms. Through Bonnie's experience, we glimpse a profound truth. Consciousness isn't confined to human form or linear time. The tree's memory became her memory, its wisdom her wisdom, expanding her vibrational range beyond human limitations. This expansion allowed her to access deeper layers of manifestation potential, rooted in the timeless rather than the temporary. These memories aren't mere stories. They're energetic keys unlocking greater octaves of being. As you remember who you truly are, your vibrational signature naturally elevates, attracting experiences that match your soul's highest expression. The practice. Each night, before entering the realm of dreams, take a moment to write in your journal, "I remember endlessness." Let these words serve as a bridge between conscious and unconscious awareness. As you drift into sleep, remain open to the luminous dreams that may visit, each one a message from your eternal self, each one a thread in the tapestry of your infinite existence. Chapter 15. The Geometry of Grace. In the heart of her sunlit studio, Wanda shaped clay with eyes half closed, letting her fingers dance in spiraling motions. Day after day, her sculptures emerged, bearing the same mystical patterns, logarithmic spirals that echoed the mathematics of nature itself. At first, she attributed this to muscle memory, until she noticed something extraordinary. The more she infused her work with loving intention, the more precise these sacred proportions became. The universe speaks in patterns, each one a reflection of the divine order that governs all creation. These patterns emerge not through calculation or effort, but through alignment with the natural flow of consciousness itself. When you attune your awareness to love's frequency, you naturally begin to move in harmony with these sacred geometries. Just as a flower unfolds according to the Fibonacci sequence, your life arranges itself in perfect proportion when you allow divine intelligence to flow through you unimpeded. Each thought ripples outward in fractals, creating resonant patterns that attract corresponding experiences. This is not coincidence, but cosmic law expressing itself through the medium of consciousness. Your role is not to force these patterns into being, but to recognize them as they naturally emerge. As you cultivate awareness of these divine designs, you begin to see them everywhere, in the spiral of galaxies, the unfurling of ferns, the shell of a nautilus, and most importantly, in the unfolding of your own life circumstances. In a small coastal village, Pete walked the beach each morning, drawing circles in the sand with his walking stick. He noticed that on days when he traced these patterns with peaceful intention, remarkable events would unfold. A long-lost friend would appear, a needed solution would present itself, or physical discomfort would mysteriously ease. The circles themselves would often remain untouched by the tide, as if protected by some invisible force. These sacred patterns serve as bridges between intention and manifestation. When Pete drew his circles with loving awareness, he wasn't merely making marks in sand. He was activating geometric frequencies that resonated with the universe's own creative forces. His simple practice demonstrated that when we align our actions with universal patterns, we tap into the very language of creation. You too are constantly drawing sacred patterns through your thoughts, emotions, and actions. Every loving intention sends ripples through the fabric of reality, organizing energy into harmonious forms. As you recognize these divine designs in your life, you become a more conscious participant in the universe's creative dance. Practice. Sit quietly and envision yourself as a golden spiral, beginning at your heart center. With each breath, feel this spiral expanding outward, carrying harmony into all dimensions of existence. Let your awareness spiral through time and space, touching everything with divine order. Continue this visualization until you sense yourself as both the creator and the created, the pattern and the force that shapes it. Chapter 16. The Pulse of Compassion. In the stillness before dawn, Faye sat beside a laboring mother, her hands resting gently on the swollen belly. As waves of contractions rippled through the woman's body, Faye noticed something extraordinary. The rhythm of their heartbeats began to synchronize, creating a harmonic pulse that filled the room with warmth. Within this sacred synchronicity lies a truth as old as life itself. Every heart that beats participates in a grand orchestra of existence. The universe moves not in isolation, but in perfect unity, each pulse contributing to the cosmic symphony. When you attune yourself to this rhythm, you discover that compassion transcends mere feeling. It becomes a force of nature, a frequency that bridges the space between souls. Just as waves in an ocean rise and fall as one, human consciousness flows in patterns of interconnected energy. Your heart generates an electromagnetic field that extends far beyond your physical form, touching and influencing all it encounters. This field carries the signature of your emotional state, broadcasting it into the quantum fabric of reality. In the quiet village of Millbrook, Clyde's story mirrors this truth. Living alone in a small cottage, he began taking in injured birds and abandoned cats. With each animal he nursed back to health, his own vitality increased. His chronic arthritis eased, his vision sharpened, and a radiant energy emanated from his being. The villagers whispered about his miraculous transformation, unaware that they witnessed the law of energetic reciprocity in action. As Clyde cared for each creature, he activated a feedback loop of life force energy. Every act of kindness strengthened the coherence of his own biofield, creating a sanctuary of healing that benefited all who entered. His home became a testament to the power of love as a tangible force, not an abstract concept, but a measurable frequency that transforms physical reality. This principle reveals itself in all of nature. Trees share nutrients through underground networks. Birds fly in formations that optimize energy for the entire flock. And schools of fish move as one organism. The universe operates through cooperation, not competition. When you align with this truth, you tap into an infinite wellspring of vitality. The heartbeat you feel within your chest echoes the pulse of galaxies. Each act of compassion ripples through the quantum field, returning multiplied. As you extend love outward, you don't deplete your energy. You amplify it. This is the hidden mechanism behind all genuine healing. The recognition that separation is an illusion, and that in caring for others, you care for yourself. Ancient practice. Find a quiet moment and place your hand over your heart. Feel its steady rhythm and whisper softly, "We all beat as one." Let this truth sink into your cells until you sense your heartbeat harmonizing with the pulse of all life. In this sacred resonance, you become both giver and receiver of universal love. Chapter 17. The Invisible Audience. In the quiet moments before dawn, Ruth stood backstage, her heart racing with familiar pre-performance jitters. Night after night, she noticed a peculiar pattern. The audience's response seemed mysteriously tied not to her on-stage delivery, but to something far more subtle, the energy she cultivated in solitude before the curtain rose. The universe operates as an infinite stage where your inner performance creates the outer experience. Every thought, every feeling, every subtle shift in your energy sends ripples through the quantum field, drawing forth matching vibrations. When you attune yourself to success before taking action, you activate forces beyond physical sight that orchestrate circumstances in your favor. Ruth discovered this truth through countless performances. On evenings when she rehearsed appreciation and connection in her heart, thunderous applause would follow. Yet when doubt crept in, even her finest technical execution fell flat. The audience wasn't responding to her acting. They were resonating with her frequency. This mirrors the deeper truth. Manifestation flows from the energy you embody, not the actions you take. The universe responds not to what you do, but to who you are being. Every moment serves as a rehearsal for the next, training your vibration to call forth corresponding experiences. In a village far from any theater lived Amos, a young astronomer who dreamed of discovery. Each night, before peering through his telescope, he would step outside and speak to the stars as old friends. "Show me your secrets," he would whisper, feeling a profound connection to the cosmic dance above. One evening, as shooting stars streaked across the sky in unprecedented numbers, his colleagues rushed to document the phenomenon. But Amos smiled knowingly. He had felt this moment approaching in the quiet communion of his starlit conversations. This tale reveals that the universe eternally listens and responds, not to our words alone, but to the resonance of our being. When Amos spoke to the stars, he wasn't merely making sounds. He was aligning his frequency with the cosmic symphony. The meteor shower arrived not as coincidence, but as harmony made visible. Your life stands ready to echo the song you sing within. Each moment offers a chance to rehearse the energy of your desires, to feel the reality you wish to experience. The key lies not in perfect performance, but in authentic presence, in allowing yourself to vibrate in harmony with your dreams before they manifest. Ancient practice. Stand before a mirror in the sacred silence of morning. Gaze softly at your reflection and allow yourself to feel the energy of achievement washing over you. Let your cells remember the feeling of standing in your power, of being witnessed in your greatness. Breathe deeply as you hear the silent applause of the universe celebrating your alignment. Hold this vibration for several minutes, knowing that as you sustain this frequency, reality must conform to match it. Chapter 18. The River Remembers. In the misty dawn, Polly glided her wooden canoe across the mirrored surface of an ancient lake. As her paddle dipped into the crystalline waters, she noticed something extraordinary. The ripples seemed to dance in harmony with her thoughts. When anxiety crossed her mind, the water churned with tiny, erratic waves. But as peace filled her heart, the surface smoothed into liquid silk. Through this silent dialogue with the water, a timeless truth emerges. Water is not merely a substance, but a living matrix that captures and reflects the frequencies of consciousness itself. Each molecule holds the imprint of every emotion it encounters, creating a vast library of energetic memory. The waters that flow through rivers, oceans, and even your own cells carry the accumulated wisdom of eons. When you approach water with reverence, it responds as a conscious partner in creation. This is why ancient cultures performed blessing ceremonies at sacred wells and springs. They understood that water amplifies the vibration of intention. In a distant valley, Gilbert stood in his parched fields, watching storm clouds gather overhead. Instead of hoping desperately for rain, he began to sing softly to the clouds, infusing each note with gratitude for the life-giving water they contained. As his appreciation grew stronger, the first drops fell, not in the harsh torrent of desperation, but in the gentle shower of answered love. Within days, his land transformed from brittle brown to vibrant green, each blade of grass responding to the blessed rain. This tale whispers a profound truth. Nature itself is responsive to the frequencies you emit. The elements are not deaf, dumb forces to be conquered, but intelligent collaborators in the dance of creation. When you approach the natural world with love, it mirrors that love back in countless manifestations. The water in your glass, the morning dew, the ocean waves, all await your conscious connection. Each holds the potential to amplify your highest intentions, transforming ordinary moments into sacred exchanges with the living universe. Ancient practice. Before drinking water each day, cup the vessel in both hands. Close your eyes and feel its cool presence against your palms. Whisper words of blessing and gratitude into the water, imagining pure light flowing from your heart into each molecule. Visualize this blessed water carrying its elevated frequency throughout your body as you drink, nourishing every cell with the vibration of your highest intention. Let each sip remind you that you are in constant communion with the fluid consciousness that flows through all life. Chapter 19. The Diamond Eye. At the edge of an ancient valley where morning mist clings to pine-scented air, Nora adjusts her camera lens with trembling fingers. Through the viewfinder, she notices something extraordinary, a shimmer of golden light outlining the mountain peaks, a dance of violet hues around rustling leaves. What others dismiss as lens flare or trick of light, she recognizes as the subtle energy field pulsing through all things. The universe speaks in the language of light, revealing itself to those who learn to perceive its finer frequencies. Your physical eyes see only a fraction of what exists, yet within you lies the capacity to perceive the full spectrum of creation. Just as a prism splits white light into rainbow hues, your consciousness can unfold deeper layers of reality. Each thought, each feeling emanates a specific frequency. These vibrations interact with the quantum field, creating patterns that become visible to those who attune their awareness. The world you see is not fixed, but fluid, responding moment by moment to the quality of your perception. When you learn to see with your whole being, not just your eyes, but your heart, your intuition, your soul, reality reveals its luminous nature. In a distant city square, another seeker named Clyde discovers this truth through his art. Each morning he paints invisible patterns on canvas using only water. Passers-by see nothing but blank white space. Yet when sunlight touches his work, iridescent mandalas emerge, glowing with otherworldly beauty. The patterns were always there, he explains to amazed onlookers. The light simply makes visible what already exists. This simple truth illuminates the deeper mechanics of manifestation. Everything you desire already exists in potential form, waiting to be perceived into being. Your role is not to force creation, but to refine your ability to see what waits to emerge. As you raise your frequency through conscious awareness, hidden dimensions of possibility become visible, tangible, real. When you look at any person, object, or situation, remember that you see not the full truth, but only the frequency band matching your current perception. By choosing to see the light within all things, you tune your consciousness to higher octaves of reality. Each moment offers an opportunity to perceive more beauty, more potential, more of the infinite intelligence expressing through all of creation. Sacred practice. Find a quiet space and sit comfortably. Begin by gazing softly at your surroundings, allowing your vision to relax. Imagine that everything you see is made of living light, continuously flowing and reshaping itself. As you encounter each person throughout your day, practice seeing their face as pure light taking temporary form. Notice how this shift in perception affects your experience of reality. The more you practice seeing with your heart, the more the luminous nature of existence reveals itself to you. Chapter 20. The Throne of Stillness. In the bustling marketplace of an ancient city, a merchant named Betty found herself overwhelmed by endless decisions. Each choice seemed to tangle with another, creating a web of confusion that paralyzed her ability to lead her trading company. One evening, as the sun painted the sky in amber hues, she encountered a mysterious sage who simply smiled and placed a finger to his lips. Through the silence that followed, Betty witnessed how the universe operates through perfect stillness. Like a pond undisturbed by ripples, her mind began to reflect truth with crystal clarity. Each decision that had seemed complex now emerged with natural grace, as if whispered by the wisdom of creation itself. The heart of power lies not in constant motion, but in the space between thoughts. When you access this sacred stillness, you tap into the same force that orchestrates the dance of stars and the turning of seasons. Within this void, all possibilities exist in perfect balance, waiting for your conscious recognition to call them forth. True command flows not from endless planning or forceful action, but from alignment with the silent source of all creation. Just as a queen need not shout to be heard, your highest wisdom speaks through the language of stillness. In a distant valley, a builder named Lester received an urgent commission to construct a grand pavilion. Instead of rushing to work, he sat in complete stillness for 7 days. His workers whispered among themselves, wondering if he had lost his way. Yet on the 8th day, perfect opportunities appeared effortlessly. Premium materials arrived at reduced costs. Skilled craftsmen offered their services, and even the weather aligned to support the project's completion. Lester's story mirrors an eternal truth. When you rest in the silence of pure potential, the universe conspires to support your highest vision. Action born from this space carries the power of the infinite, while movement born from anxiety scatters energy like leaves in the wind. Remember, the material world emerges from the immaterial. Every manifest form first existed in the formless void of possibility. By entering this silence, you participate in creation at its source, rather than struggling with its effects. Ancient practice. Find a quiet space as dawn approaches. Sit with spine straight, embodying natural dignity. Let your breath become so subtle it barely disturbs the air around you. Feel yourself as pure awareness, observing the space where decisions crystallize from nothingness into form. Maintain this royal silence for several minutes, knowing the universe bows to this calm certainty. When you open your eyes, notice how clarity emerges without effort, and right action flows naturally from your centered presence. Part 3. The Embodiment of Infinity. Chapter 21. The Dance of Parallel Selves. In the quiet hours before dawn, Tessie would often wake to find herself aware of countless other Tessies, each living out different choices in parallel streams of time. These versions rippled through her consciousness like reflections in a hall of mirrors, some dimmer, some brighter, each carrying its own frequency of possibility. Through silent observation, she discovered that the brightest version of herself emanated a particular warmth, a resonance that felt like coming home. This radiant self had made choices aligned with inner truth rather than outer expectation. When Tessie attuned to this frequency, synchronicities blossomed in her path like flowers opening to sunlight. The universe operates as an infinite field of probability, each thought and feeling selecting which wave of experience will crystallize into physical reality. Your consciousness is the selector, the tuner that chooses which station will play on the radio of existence. Every moment holds all possibilities. The key lies not in forcing outcomes, but in aligning with the frequency that matches your highest good. In a small village by the sea, Howard discovered this truth through a different gateway. Each morning he would take his charcoal and draw doorways on parchment, labeling them with different possibilities: joy, abundance, peace. Closing his eyes, he would step through these portals in his mind, feeling the reality on the other side as if already present. To his amazement, the experiences he visited in imagination began appearing in his physical world. It wasn't about escaping reality, but rather about recognizing that consciousness itself is the doorway through which all experience enters existence. Every choice is a quantum leap, every focused thought a step through an invisible threshold. The power of selection lies not in struggling to make things happen, but in aligning with the version of reality that already holds your highest expression. Like tuning to a clear signal among static, you can sense which probability carries the purest resonance with your essential nature. This ancient practice echoes through dimensions. At sunrise, find a quiet space and sit comfortably. Close your eyes and breathe deeply, imagining before you the most radiant version of yourself, the one who has actualized your deepest truth. Feel their presence as a golden light. With each breath, allow yourself to merge with this light, knowing it is your own highest possibility made manifest. Let each exhalation release what separates you from this truth, each inhalation drawing you closer to full alignment. Continue until you feel the boundaries dissolve and recognize you are already that light. Chapter 22. The Temple of Now. In the heart of an abandoned sanctuary, Luther's hammer met ancient wood with rhythmic precision. Each strike echoed through empty halls that had long forgotten the sound of hymns. As dust motes danced in shafts of colored light streaming through stained glass, Luther noticed something extraordinary. When his mind wandered to deadlines or costs, his work grew clumsy. Yet in moments of pure absorption in the task, his tools seemed guided by an unseen hand. The simple act of restoration became his teacher. When Luther's attention rested fully in each motion, the weight of the hammer, the grain of the wood, the quiet between impacts, time itself appeared to bend around his work. Walls that had resisted repair for decades yielded effortlessly. Paint flowed like liquid light. The building itself seemed to respond to his presence. This revelation unfolds a timeless truth. Power does not accumulate through time, but ignites in complete presence. The universe knows no past or future. It blooms eternally in the now. When you align fully with the present moment, you tap directly into the infinite current that flows through all creation. In a small cottage by the sea, Ellie kept a single candle burning in her window. Night after night, she watched its flame flicker and fade as memories of loss and longing clouded her mind. The light seemed to mirror her thoughts, dim when dwelling in what was, bright when embracing what is. One evening, as storm winds rattled her windows, Ellie noticed that when she released her grip on yesterday, the flame burned steady and strong, as if fed by her presence rather than the past. The more fully she inhabited each breath, each heartbeat, the more radiant the light became, until her tiny cottage glowed like a lighthouse. This simple candle reveals the mechanism of manifestation. Power cannot flow through a consciousness tangled in memory. The past exists only as thought, while the present moment opens a direct channel to source. When you release what was, what is becomes luminous with possibility. Every breath you take arrives fresh from eternity. Each heartbeat rings with the power of now. The present moment is not a point between past and future, but a doorway into the infinite. Here, in the eternal now, miracles don't require time. They simply flower in the soil of presence. Practice. Find a quiet space and settle into stillness. Place your attention in the space between heartbeats, that momentary pause containing neither past nor future. Let each beat remind you of now's perfection. Rest here for several minutes, discovering that eternity hides not in duration, but in depth of presence. Notice how this simple practice instantly aligns you with the power that creates worlds. Chapter 23. The Signature of Joy. In a small village known for its traditional pastries, Viola created confections in her modest bakery. Each morning, as dawn painted the sky in gentle hues, she approached her work with methodical precision, measuring ingredients with exactness. Her pastries were good, yet something felt missing. One morning, while preparing her signature eclairs, Viola accidentally dropped an egg. Instead of frustration, she found herself laughing at the way it splattered in a perfect star pattern. As she continued baking, now humming and swaying to an inner melody, something magical occurred. The chocolate ganache developed an unprecedented sheen. The cream whipped itself into clouds, and the pastry shells rose with unprecedented lightness. When customers tasted these treats, their eyes widened with wonder. "These taste like happiness," they exclaimed. Word spread, and soon people claimed her pastries could cure melancholy and spark inspiration. The universe speaks through vibration, and joy remains its most potent frequency. What you create carries the energetic imprint of your emotional state while creating it. This isn't metaphor, but physics. The atoms of matter respond to the electromagnetic field of human emotion. When you infuse your actions with genuine delight, you alter the very structure of what you touch. In another part of the world lived Roy, who transformed his mundane household tasks into dance performances. As he swept, he waltzed with his broom. While folding laundry, he orchestrated elaborate ballet moves. Soon, neighbors began offering to help, drawn by the infectious energy emanating from his home. His once solitary chores became spontaneous community gatherings, filled with laughter and connection. Roy's story reveals a fundamental truth about universal law. Joy acts as a magnetic force, attracting assistance from seen and unseen realms. When you elevate ordinary moments through playfulness, you broadcast a frequency that the universe mirrors back in surprising ways. Your own life becomes a living laboratory for this principle. Each task, no matter how simple, offers an opportunity to raise your vibration through genuine enjoyment. This isn't about forcing false cheerfulness, but about rediscovering the natural delight that exists within all experience. Ancient practice. The dawn giggle. As first light touches the horizon, Viola sits in quiet meditation. Then she allows a small chuckle to bubble up from her belly. This tiny laugh grows naturally, expanding into genuine mirth. She continues until the air around her seems to sparkle with levity, and reality itself appears to join in her joy. Through this practice, she reminds the universe of its own inherent lightness, and invites that same quality into her day's creation. Chapter 24. The Silent Choir. In a small mountain town, Nancy attended weekly meditation circles without expecting anything extraordinary. One evening, as 20 people settled into silence, she felt an unusual resonance, like strings of a cosmic harp, vibrating in perfect harmony. Without speaking, she knew what others were experiencing: waves of peace, bubbles of joy, streams of compassion. Their individual frequencies had synchronized into something greater. The universe operates through fields of consciousness, interweaving individual vibrations into collective forces. When minds align in shared intention, they create an energetic resonance that amplifies the power of manifestation. Just as individual drops merge to form an ocean, unified consciousness forms waves of transformative potential. This amplification follows the square of participants. 2 people meditating together create 4 times the effect. 3 create 9 times the impact. When groups achieve coherence, they access a quantum field of infinite possibility. Their combined frequency becomes a lighthouse, drawing matching circumstances into physical reality. In the valleys of Tibet, Bernie led a small choir that practiced something unusual. They would sing only in their minds. One rainy morning, as they gathered in the monastery, each member held the same pure tone in their imagination. As their silent harmony peaked, the heavy clouds parted, and sunlight streamed through ancient windows. The monks smiled, understanding that unified vibration had shifted the very atmosphere. This tale reveals a timeless truth. When consciousness merges in harmony, it gains the power to reorganize matter itself. The choir's experience demonstrates how collective intention can pierce through apparent physical limitations. Their silent song created a frequency so pure that nature itself responded in kind. You too participate in this grand symphony of consciousness. Each thought, each feeling contributes to the collective field. By choosing to align with others in positive intention, you multiply the power of manifestation available to all. The key lies not in the volume of your voice, but in the purity of your resonance with universal harmony.
Ancient practice of unified light.
Find a comfortable position and close your eyes. Breathe deeply, imagining a golden light glowing in your heart. With each breath, expand this light until it fills your entire being. Now, envision this radiance extending beyond you, connecting with billions of other hearts across the globe. Feel them all pulsing in unison with gratitude. Maintain this connection for several minutes, knowing that your consciousness joins a worldwide web of light. This practice aligns you with the collective power of human intention, amplifying the field of positive manifestation for all. Chapter 25. The Infinite Playground. Once there lived a mathematician named Claude who approached every task with stern calculation. His office walls bore complex equations, and his days followed rigid schedules plotted with mathematical precision. Each morning, he would measure his coffee grounds to the nearest gram and time his commute to the second. One autumn day, while documenting wind patterns in the park, a young girl's laughter interrupted his concentration. She spun in circles, arms outstretched, proclaiming she was dancing with the wind. To Claude's astonishment, leaves swirled around her in perfect spirals, defying the chaotic patterns he'd been recording all morning. The universe speaks in the language of play. When you release the grip of seriousness, reality becomes fluid, responsive, and alive with possibility. Your thoughts are not mere electrical impulses, but creative forces that shape the quantum field. The difference between struggle and ease often lies not in effort, but in approach. Every child knows this instinctively. They don't try to manifest. They simply play with possibility. Their imagination doesn't question whether something is achievable. It simply creates. This natural state of playful curiosity opens channels through which the universe can flow unimpeded. To illustrate this truth differently, there was once a woman named Myrtle who lived alone in a small cottage. Rather than succumb to loneliness, she began conversing with imaginary friends. A wise owl on her windowsill, a friendly breeze that rustled her curtains, a beam of sunlight that danced on her wall. She played with these companions as naturally as a child with beloved toys. Strange things began to happen. Fresh flowers appeared on her doorstep. Books she'd wished for showed up in her mailbox. Her garden flourished beyond explanation. Her neighbors wondered about her mysterious benefactors. But Myrtle just smiled, knowing her playful connection with the universe had manifested in physical form. What Myrtle discovered through her innocent play was what quantum physics now confirms. Consciousness shapes reality. When you approach life with wonder rather than worry, with curiosity rather than control, the boundary between imagination and manifestation becomes permeable. Your playful thoughts create tangible bridges between possibility and reality. The practice. Each morning before rising, whisper, "Let's play," to the universe. Feel the lightness of those words in your body. Notice how the day unfolds with more ease, more synchronicity, more delight. Watch as reality begins to mirror your playful spirit, bringing unexpected gifts and joyful surprises. Remember, the universe isn't a stern taskmaster, but a playful co-creator waiting for your invitation to dance. Chapter 26. The Quantum Heartbeat. Among the pristine halls of Central Hospital, Shirley discovered an astonishing truth. As she moved her stethoscope from patient to patient, she noticed something extraordinary. Hearts began to synchronize their rhythms when family members held hands, or when loved ones simply sat together in peaceful silence. At first, she dismissed these observations as coincidence. Yet day after day, the evidence mounted. Couples married for decades shared nearly identical heart patterns. Children in the pediatric ward who formed friendships showed matching cardiac signatures. Even more fascinating, when groups gathered in the hospital chapel to pray or meditate, their hearts would gradually align into a harmonious symphony. The universe speaks through the heart's wisdom. This sacred drum within your chest serves as more than a mere pump. It is an instrument of connection, a transmitter and receiver of life's deepest frequencies. When hearts attune to one another, they create a field of coherence that transcends physical boundaries. This field carries the power to heal, transform, and unite consciousness across vast distances. In a small village in the mountains, Boyd gathered those who carried heavy sorrows. Each week they would sit in a circle with hand drums and djembes. At first their rhythms were chaotic, discordant, much like their grief. But Boyd taught them to listen, not just to the drums, but to the beating of their own hearts. "Let your heart lead your hands," he would say softly. "Feel how it already knows the rhythm of healing." Gradually, the drummers found their collective pulse. As their rhythms aligned, something remarkable occurred. Tears would flow freely, yet smiles began to emerge. The weight of loss grew lighter with each shared beat. Through the drums they spoke what words could not express, and their hearts answered in kind. This simple truth awaits your recognition. Every heart beats in service to the whole. When you align your heart's rhythm with others through compassion, presence, or shared purpose, you tap into creation's vast orchestral power. The frequency of love, carried through the heart's electromagnetic field, literally reshapes the physical world. Your heart already knows this ancient science. It has never forgotten its role in the cosmic symphony. Each beat ripples through the quantum field, touching all other hearts, all other lives. Through conscious connection, you amplify this natural resonance, contributing to the healing and harmony of all. Shirley taps her chest gently, affirming, "I beat with all creation." Chapter 27. The Living Equation. In the candlelit halls of an ancient university, Percy traced mathematical equations across weathered chalkboards. Each night, he noticed something peculiar. When his heart filled with wonder at the elegant dance of numbers, his calculations yielded results that defied probability. The once rigid symbols seemed to pulse with life, arranging themselves into perfect solutions that emerged not through force of intellect, but through the joy of discovery. The universe speaks in mathematics, yet this language transcends mere computation. When consciousness merges with calculation, the underlying fabric of reality responds. Your thoughts and emotions are not separate from the cosmic mathematics. They are essential variables in the equation of existence. Each number vibrates with consciousness, each formula channels energy, and each solution manifests through the harmony of mind and heart. As you align your awareness with the mathematical poetry of creation, you become both the equation and its solution. The universe does not simply compute. It communes with consciousness, responding to the frequency of your understanding. When you approach problems with rigid determination, the solutions remain elusive. But when you infuse your calculations with wonder, the universe reveals its hidden symmetries. In a small mountain village, Sophia spent her evenings counting stars. At first, she simply tracked their numbers, but soon she began to sense subtle patterns in their arrangement. As she gazed upward with childlike fascination, the stellar mathematics began whispering ancient wisdom. The stars weren't just distant lights. They were nodes in a vast cosmic calculation, each one contributing to the infinite equation of existence. Through her nightly communion with the celestial geometry, Sophia discovered that the universe offers solutions when approached with reverence. The patterns she observed weren't just random arrangements. They were messages encoded in light, accessible only through the mathematics of wonder. This truth extends to your own relationship with the cosmic calculation. When you view numbers as living symbols and formulas as flowing rivers of possibility, the rigid boundaries between mathematics and magic dissolve. Every problem contains its solution, waiting to be revealed through the alchemy of consciousness. Practice. Find a quiet moment each day to write a simple mathematical equation. As you form each number and symbol, infuse them with genuine wonder and appreciation. Feel how these marks on paper connect to the vast mathematical tapestry of existence. Don't solve the equation immediately. Instead, allow your consciousness to merge with its essence. Notice how solutions often arise spontaneously when approached with reverence rather than force. This practice realigns your awareness with the living mathematics of the universe, transforming mundane calculations into portals of infinite possibility. Percy sketches numbers while feeling awe, merging logic with light. Chapter 28. The Feather and the Mountain. In a small cottage by the sea, a white feather drifted through an open window, landing on Bertie's manuscript. She had been struggling for hours with her work, shoulders tense, mind clouded. The feather touched down with such delicate grace that she paused, watching it balance perfectly on the edge of her desk. As she observed its weightless presence, a profound truth emerged. Nature accomplishes its grandest feats with remarkable ease. Clouds paint the sky without strain. Rivers carve canyons by flowing, not forcing. The earth spins without effort. The stars shine without trying. When you resist what flows naturally, you create friction against the universe's inherent motion. This resistance manifests as struggle, strain, and limitation. Yet the moment you release into trust, allowing life's current to carry you, mountains of difficulty dissolve like mist in morning light. In the village of Stillwater, there lived a man named Guy who earned his living moving stones for garden walls. One particularly massive boulder had defeated every attempt at movement. After hours of straining, his muscles aching, Guy sat beside the stone and began to laugh at the absurdity of his struggle. As his laughter filled the air, He noticed how the sunlight made the boulder appear to dance with light and shadow. In that moment of lightness, he placed his hands upon the stone once more. To his amazement, it shifted easily, as if it had merely been waiting for him to release his grip on difficulty. This simple tale mirrors your own journey. When you approach challenges with gravity and burden, they become heavier still. But when you embrace lightness of spirit, insurmountable obstacles reveal themselves as illusions. Your perception of weight, whether in circumstances, relationships, or ambitions, creates your experience of it. The universe operates through joy, not struggle. Every atom spins in a dance of delight. Every wave that crashes on the shore demonstrates power through fluidity, not force. You are made of this same essence, designed to move through life with graceful ease rather than rigid determination. Practice the feather's wisdom. Find a small feather or imagine one resting in your palm. Place it where you work or spend time in contemplation. Let it remind you that the most powerful forces in nature, gravity, light, growth, operate without strain. When facing any challenge, pause and observe the feather's message. Ask yourself, how would this situation feel if I approached it with the lightness of a feather? Feel your breath become soft, your thoughts become buoyant. Trust that just as a feather rides the wind without resistance, you too can accomplish your aims by aligning with the natural flow of life. Chapter 29. The Sacred Paradox. In a tranquil valley, Nedra tended her garden each morning, searching for the perfect bloom. Though her garden overflowed with vibrant flowers, she felt certain the most magnificent blossom still waited to reveal itself. Day after day, she explored every corner, every hidden space between leaves, knowing deep within that something extraordinary would emerge. One dawn, as sunlight painted the dew in rainbow hues, Nedra noticed something remarkable. Each flower she had passed by 100 times now shimmered with previously unseen beauty. The roses she thought ordinary now pulsed with inner light, and the modest daisies revealed intricate patterns she had never glimpsed before. In that moment, she understood. The treasure she sought had surrounded her all along, yet her seeking heart had enhanced her ability to perceive it. The seeking itself transforms consciousness into a lens that magnifies wonder. When you pursue growth, evolution, or enlightenment, you already embody these qualities. The search itself proves their presence within you. Like a flame seeking more oxygen, your spiritual hunger confirms your spiritual nature. The paradox dissolves in the understanding that seeking and finding are one continuous dance of awareness expanding into itself. Consider the tale of Marvin, who built an elaborate sailboat to cross the mysterious waters that appeared each full moon in the meadow behind his home. For years he labored, crafting every detail with care, dreaming of the distant shore he would reach. On the night of launching, as he pushed his boat into the silvery water, the entire lake transformed into mist before his eyes. Yet, standing there in the empty meadow, Marvin felt more complete than if he had made the journey, for in building the boat, he had already crossed every ocean in his heart. This story mirrors your own journey. What appears as seeking is actually an unfolding recognition of what was never lost. The search itself is sacred, not because it leads somewhere else, but because it reveals the infinite nature of where you already stand. When you truly understand this, manifestation becomes effortless. for you no longer strive to obtain what you already are. The mysteries you explore are doorways opening within your own consciousness. Each question mark becomes a key, each uncertainty a gift revealing new dimensions of your limitless nature. The universe delights in your seeking precisely because it confirms you are already found. Practice. Each morning, find a quiet moment to whisper, "I am both seeker and found," allowing yourself to rest in the peace of this paradox. Feel how the words create a bridge between yearning and fulfillment, transforming search into celebration. Chapter 30. The Return to I Am. A gentle wind stirs the curtains in Pearl's meditation room as she sits, eyes closed, facing the rising sun. For years she has collected names and labels, wearing them like garments: daughter, teacher, friend, seeker. Yet on this pristine morning, something shifts in her awareness. Each name begins to dissolve like morning mist, revealing a singular luminous truth beneath all identities. In this space of pure being, Pearl recognizes that every name points to the same infinite presence. The I that speaks through all beings is not personal, but universal, the quantum consciousness expressing itself through countless forms. Through this understanding, the walls of separation crumble, revealing that which has always been whole. When we release attachment to names and forms, we touch the substrate of creation itself. This is not a loss of identity, but an expansion into our true nature, the infinite field of possibilities from which all experiences arise. The quantum self is not bound by time, space, or individual limitation. It is the awareness in which all phenomena appear and dissolve. In the depths of night, Ollie, a dream keeper, finds himself visited by every soul who has walked this path before him. Their voices, once distinct and separate, begin to merge into a magnificent chorus of recognition. The shepherd's wisdom, the baker's warmth, the artist's vision, all flow together into one resounding yes to existence itself. Through this symphony of unified consciousness, Ollie understands that every story has been telling the same truth. We are the quantum field expressing itself in human form. This revelation marks not an ending, but an awakening to what has always been true. The journey of manifestation reaches its pinnacle not in acquiring or becoming, but in recognizing what we eternally are. The power to create reality flows naturally when we align with our quantum nature. In the space between thoughts, in the silence behind all names, rests the profound simplicity of being. Here, manifestation requires no effort because we recognize ourselves as the source from which all possibilities emerge. The quantum self does not need to attract or create. It simply reveals what is already present in the infinite field of consciousness. Ancient practice. Find a quiet space as the sun rises. Sit with your spine straight but relaxed, palms resting gently upward. Begin to breathe slowly and deeply. With each breath, silently repeat the phrase, "I am the quantum." Let each repetition dissolve the boundaries of personal identity until only presence remains. Continue until you feel yourself merging with the vast field of pure awareness. In this space of no self, paradoxically, your true power of creation awakens. If you enjoyed this audiobook, I created a free ebook version for you. You can download it using the link in the pinned comment. Conclusion. As these sacred teachings draw to their natural completion, a profound truth emerges from the depths of your being. You are not separate from the quantum field. You are its conscious expression. Every breath you take is the universe breathing. Every thought you think is creation thinking through you. The law of attraction, in its highest understanding, dissolves into pure awareness of what has always been true. You are the attractor and the attracted, the creator and the created. In this moment of recognition, all techniques and practices reveal themselves as gentle reminders of your inherent nature. The mirror that showed Lila her emotions, Henry's humming workshop, Vivian's musical prosperity, each story whispered of the same truth. Consciousness shapes reality because consciousness is reality, expressing itself through infinite forms. The quantum field is not responding to your vibration. It is your vibration, dancing in endless patterns of possibility. Your thoughts don't attract circumstances. They are the very substance from which circumstances arise. Your emotions aren't magnets drawing experiences. They are the experiences felt before taking form. This knowing transforms every moment into an opportunity for conscious creation. Each breath becomes a reminder of your infinite nature. Each heartbeat pulses with the rhythm of universal intelligence. Your eyes see through the lens of source energy itself. Your hands shape reality not through effort, but through recognition of their unity with all that is. You have always been this. The journey wasn't about becoming something new. It was about remembering what you are, pure consciousness, taking form as human experience. In this awareness, manifestation becomes effortless because you no longer see yourself as separate from what you wish to create. You are the wisher and the wish fulfilled, the dreamer and the dream. Let this understanding settle into your cells. You are the quantum field, aware of itself, creating through the power of your recognition. Everything you seek is seeking you because it is you, waiting to be acknowledged.
If you enjoyed this exclusive audiobook, I handpicked this next book which will change your life.